Have you ever noticed a loved one slowing down more than usual, or maybe you felt a shift in your own body that's hard to put into words? It's a tough thing to think about, but as we age, our bodies and minds send us gentle signals that things might be changing. These moments can feel overwhelming, but understanding them can bring peace, clarity, and even a chance to make the most of every day. If you're over 60, or you're caring for someone who is, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about something deeply important, the signs that a senior might be nearing the end of life, and more importantly, how to approach these moments with care, love, and preparation. This isn't about fear or sadness, it's about empowerment. Knowing what to look for can help you or your family make thoughtful decisions, whether that's seeking medical advice, spending quality time together, or simply offering comfort. In this video, we're going to walk through 5 gentle warning signs that might suggest someone is approaching the end of their journey. For each sign, I'll share what it looks like, why it happens, and practical steps you can take to respond with compassion. By the end, you'll feel more prepared to face these moments with confidence and grace. So, let's start with the first sign, and we'll move through this together, step by step. The first sign to watch for is increased fatigue or weakness that doesn't seem to go away. Now, we all get tired sometimes, maybe after a busy day or a restless night, but this is different. It's a deep, persistent exhaustion that lingers even after rest. You might notice your loved one sleeping more during the day, struggling to get out of bed, or finding simple tasks like walking to the kitchen feel like climbing a mountain. For example, my friend Susan shared a story about her dad, who was always up early tending his garden. In his late 80s, she noticed he started napping for hours and could barely lift his watering can. At first, she thought he was just tired, but it kept getting worse. This kind of fatigue often happens because the body's systems are slowing down. As we age, our organs work harder to keep up, and near the end of life, they may not have the energy to function like they used to. It's like a car running low on fuel, it still moves, but it's not as strong. If you see this in yourself or someone you love, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Start by talking to a doctor. They can check for treatable causes like anemia, medication side effects, or dehydration. Sometimes, a small change can make a big difference. If it's not something that can be reversed, focus on comfort. Help your loved one conserve energy by setting up their favorite chair near a window or bringing their meals to them. Little gestures like these can make their days feel easier and more peaceful. And most importantly, spend time with them, whether it's watching an old movie or just holding their hand. Those moments matter more than you might realize. Now, let's move to the second sign, a noticeable loss of appetite or interest in food. Food is such a big part of life, isn't it? It's how we gather, celebrate, and show love. So, when someone stops eating much, it can feel alarming. You might notice they're picking at their plate, skipping meals altogether, or saying things like, "I'm just not hungry." Maybe they've lost weight, or their favorite dishes don't seem to spark joy anymore. I remember my neighbor, Tom, who loved his wife's homemade lasagna. In her final months, she barely touched it, and Tom felt so helpless watching her fade. This change often happens because the body's metabolism slows as it nears the end of life. Digestion takes a lot of energy, and the body may start to prioritize other functions. Sometimes, it's also tied to medications, nausea, or even emotional withdrawal. If you're seeing this, the first step is to check in gently. Ask, is the food not tasting right, or are you feeling okay after you eat? Sometimes, offering smaller, softer meals, like a bowl of warm soup or a smoothie, can help. Avoid forcing food, though, that can cause stress or discomfort. Instead, focus on creating a calm, pleasant environment during meals. Maybe play soft music or share a story to make the moment feel special. If a loss of appetite persists, talk to a healthcare provider. They might suggest a nutritionist or even palliative care to keep your loved one comfortable. And here's something to remember, even if they're eating less, you're still nourishing them with your presence and care. These first two signs, fatigue and loss of appetite, are often the earliest clues, and they can be easy to miss because they feel so ordinary. But when you notice them together, or they start to intensify, it's a signal to pay attention. As we keep going, we'll look at a few more signs that build on these, like changes in how someone interacts with the world around them. Stick with me, because understanding these next steps can help you make thoughtful choices for yourself or someone you love. As we continue our conversation, let's dive into the next sign that might show a senior is nearing the end of their journey, a pulling back from the world around them, often called social or emotional withdrawal. You know how some days you just don't feel like chatting or going out? That's normal for all of us. But this is different. It's when someone starts to seem distant, not just physically but emotionally. They might stop calling friends, lose interest in hobbies they once loved, or even seem quieter during family gatherings. Maybe you've noticed your mom, who always lit up telling stories about her grandkids, now sits silently at the dinner table. Or perhaps you felt this yourself, a sense of turning inward, like the world feels a little farther away. This withdrawal often happens because, as the body slows, the mind and spirit start to focus inward too. It's not always about sadness or depression, though those can play a role. Sometimes, it's the body's way of conserving energy or preparing for what's next. I think of my uncle, who was a social butterfly, always hosting card games. In his final months, he stopped inviting people over and spent hours just looking out his window. At first, we thought he was upset, but he told us he just wanted to think about things. If you're seeing this in someone you care about, it can feel like they're slipping away, and that's hard. But there are ways to connect and offer comfort. Start by being present without pushing. Sit with them, maybe share a quiet moment, or ask gentle questions like, "What's on your mind today?" Sometimes, they might open up about memories or feelings they're sorting through. If they're not talkative, try small gestures, like playing their favorite music or showing them old photos. These can spark connection without demanding energy they might not have. It's also worth checking with a doctor, especially if the withdrawal seems sudden or tied to mood changes. They can assess for things like depression or medication side effects. And here's a big one: don't take it personally if they seem distant. It's not about you, it's about their journey. Your presence, even in silence, is a gift that says, "I'm here with you." Let's move to the fourth sign, which is a bit more physical: changes in breathing patterns. This one can be subtle at first, but it's something families often notice as time goes on. You might hear your loved one breathing more shallowly, or maybe there are pauses between breaths that feel longer than normal. Sometimes, it sounds like a soft rattle or a sigh, especially when they're resting. For example, my friend Linda shared how her dad's breathing changed in his last weeks. She'd sit by his bed and notice he'd take quick, light breaths, then pause for what felt like forever. It worried her until a nurse explained what was happening. These changes happen because the body's respiratory system starts to weaken. As the heart and lungs work less efficiently, breathing becomes less regular. It's not always painful for the person, but it can be distressing for those watching. If you notice this, the first thing to do is stay calm. Your loved one can often sense your emotions. Make sure they're comfortable, maybe propped up with pillows to ease breathing. Keep the room quiet and peaceful, as loud noises can feel overwhelming. If the changes are significant or seem to cause discomfort, reach out to a healthcare provider right away. They might suggest oxygen therapy or medications to make breathing easier. Palliative or hospice care teams are also incredible at guiding families through this, offering practical tips to keep your loved one at ease. And don't hesitate to hold their hand or speak softly. Your voice can be a source of comfort, even if they don't respond. These two signs, withdrawal and breathing changes, can feel heavy, I know. They're a reminder that time might be growing shorter. But recognizing them gives you a chance to act with love, whether that's being there in quiet moments or seeking help to ensure comfort. As we keep going, we'll explore one more sign that ties all of this together, helping you feel ready to support yourself or someone you care about in the most meaningful way. Let's move into the final sign, one that often becomes more noticeable as these other changes unfold: increased confusion or changes in mental clarity. You might see your loved one having moments where they seem disoriented, like forgetting where they are or mixing up names and dates. Maybe they talk about people or events from long ago as if they're happening now. For instance, my friend Maria told me about her aunt, who started calling her by her mother's name and talking about a childhood home like she was still living there. At first, Maria was confused and even a little hurt, but she learned this was a natural part of her aunt's journey. This kind of confusion often happens because the brain, like other parts of the body, starts to slow down near the end of life. It might be caused by lower oxygen levels, medications, or the body's systems winding down. Sometimes, it's also a way for the mind to process memories or find comfort in the past. If you're noticing this, it can feel unsettling, but there are ways to respond that bring peace to both you and your loved one. Start by staying calm and gentle. If they're talking about the past, go along with it, ask questions or share in the memory instead of correcting them. For example, if they mention an old friend, you might say, "Tell me more about them," and let the conversation flow. This can make them feel safe and heard. Practically, make their environment as simple and familiar as possible. Keep the room well lit during the day to reduce confusion, and avoid sudden changes like moving furniture. If the confusion seems sudden or severe, check with the doctor. They can look for causes like infections, dehydration, or medication issues that might be treatable. Palliative care teams are also amazing at helping families navigate this, offering advice on how to communicate and keep your loved one comfortable. And here's something to hold on to: even if their mind seems far away, your presence and touch can still reach them. A gentle hand on theirs or a soft word can mean more than you know. As we've walked through these 5 signs: fatigue, loss of appetite, withdrawal, breathing changes, and confusion, you might be feeling a mix of emotions. That's okay. These signs aren't just about the end, they're about giving you the chance to make every moment count. Whether it's helping your loved one feel comfortable, seeking medical advice, or simply sitting together in quiet love, you're doing something powerful. For yourself or someone you care about, these steps can bring clarity and peace to a time that might otherwise feel overwhelming. Small actions, like adjusting a pillow, sharing a memory, or calling a hospice nurse, can make a world of difference. I hope this has given you a sense of calm and readiness, whether you're preparing for your own journey or supporting someone you love. You're not alone in this, and there's so much you can do to make these moments meaningful. I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences. Drop them in the comments below. It's a way to connect with others who are walking this path too. If you found this helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content to help you live your best life at any age. Here's to facing every day with love, courage, and care. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you.